Hello, dear students! Welcome to our observation report. Let us now proceed to the activity number 1, the teacher's knowledge on content and pedagogy.
The principles of learning. Effective learning begins with the setting of clear and high expectations of learning outcomes. Part of the lesson. Motivation. State evidences that will prove your claim. The teacher shows different images in the class and asks her student if they have any ideas about music notation that they have learned way back when they are in elementary. Learning is an active process. Presentation of the lesson. In the discussion proper, the teacher used PowerPoint presentation. She started by presenting the different music in the lowlands of Luzon. She gave chances to the students to read the topic and answer the questions that she asked. Learning is the discovery of personal meaning and relevance of ideas. Development of the lesson. This is the interesting part when the teacher played a video presentation of different music and asked her students if they heard that music, and she gave trivia and additional information. Learning is a cooperative and collaborative process. Learning is enhanced in an atmosphere of cooperation and collaboration. Part of the lesson, generalization. Teacher gives an opportunity to explore, create, and share their ideas regarding their knowledge in the lesson. Learning involves creating supportive and responsive environment that are tuned to stimulate a learner to become active. It is influenced by the total environment. Development of the lesson. When the teacher appreciates the students, answer by saying very good to them after they voluntarily read the topic and give insights to it. Learners master basic and component skills through practice. Development of the lesson. The teacher played some videos from YouTube for the students to clearly understand the examples. Learning is a stronger and more permanent in a positive emotional climate. Development of the lesson. When the teacher played a video of a Filipino folk song, which is the Bahay Kubo, everyone relates to it and sang it. Afterwards, the teacher discussed it with calm and positive voice. Acquiring and applying habits of mind improve learning performance. Assignment. In order to have advanced reading to the next lesson, the teacher gave an assignment about the different music, the sacred, art, and secular music.
Mr. Fernando, are there other principles not applied by the teacher nor listed in the table?
Based on my observation, there are other principles that not applied by the teacher during the discussion. The teacher has not able to give any activities or assessment to test the students on what have they learned in the lesson. Maybe it is because of lack of time, but I think this is the most important principles that the teachers should have. Thank you.
What skills are developed or enhanced during the learning process?
The skills that are developed, enhanced during the learning process is the communication skills. The teacher knows to find ways to discuss the topic to get students involved in the lesson. She speaks very respectful. She had a clear and loud voice during the discussion that may catch the attention of the students to be more interested, more responsive, and actively participate in class.
What did the teacher do to enhance or develop the needed skills?
I think having a good communication skills is very important for teachers because it is the basic needs of academic success of students. The teacher are much prepared to instruct and teach the lesson. The teacher listens to her students' idea and explaining the topic very clearly, and I observed that the teacher is a good listener. She gives an opportunity to the students to share their thoughts and ideas about the topic. Overall, the discussion works very well because students actively participate in class.
So, what communication skills were utilized by the teacher during the teaching-learning process?
The communication skills utilized by the teacher during the teaching-learning process is that the teacher used Google Meet as the medium of instruction. She gives positive feedback to the students when they answer her questions, and she speaks very respectful, and at the same time she always smiles every time the students respond, which motivates the learners to pay attention and be more participative in the lesson.
Okay, now, describe how the learners respond to the communication strategies by the teacher.
As I observe, the learners respond to the communication strategies of the teacher by using the raise hand in the Google Meet if they want to recite and for them to be recognized. They always use ma'am and po at opo to communicate with the teacher. They are very active, responsive, and attentive in the whole discussion.
Bachelor of Physical Education, 4th year, Block 1, Group 2. The Field Study 1 Notes. Pangasinan State University, Bayambang Campus, AY 2021 to 2022. Field Study 1, Activity 1, Teacher's Knowledge on Content and Pedagogy. Submitted by Group 2, Bachelor of Physical Education 4-1. Submitted to Mrs. Agnes V. Baurella, FS Mentor, date September 28, 2021. Strategy Technique. The teacher greets her students to formally start the class. She starts to show some pictures of musical notations, then asks if it's familiar, if they can name each one of them. Second, presentation of the lesson. The teacher presents her lesson through visual strategy. She introduced the topic in a PowerPoint presentation. She asked questions to the students if they have any idea about the lesson.
Of the lesson. The teacher discussed the lesson simple and straightforward. She used a video presentation via YouTube to get the attention of the learners. While the videos are playing, she discussed where it originated. The teacher shares ideas and experiences as well as the students to have a participative class discussion. The generalization. The teacher didn't have an opportunity to summarize the topic, but she asked the students from time to time if they understand the topic discussed. The enrichment or evaluation or fixing skills. The teacher asked if there are any questions or clarifications about the topic. Fixing skills. She mentioned that if the students missed any of the topic, she would provide a soft copy of her presentation. Lastly, the agreement or the assignment. The teacher gave the students an assignment about the topic discussed, which is to differentiate sacred, secular, and art music. This is the said activity. Thank you for listening.
The teacher applied the learning principles appropriately with the nature of the learners and then the learning conditions. The teacher and students are actively participating in online class. There is an interaction between the two. It is just because of the communication. The students are responding quickly when the teacher asks some question during the presentation or the discussion. The teacher used two appropriate medium, the PowerPoint presentation while discussing and YouTube for watching a video related to the topic. The observers was impressed with the teacher's communication skills. The teacher handled the grade 7 student very calmly. As we observe, since they have just started their classes and they're still adjusting to the phase of new normal, most of them are passive and silent. For this kind of learning setups, most of the students are not raising their hands and not turning their cameras on. They just listen and observe. to the class discussion of their teacher, maybe for some reason like communication barriers, like having a poor internet connection. Yes, the communication strategy of the teacher is appropriate to the level of the learners because she interacts with the students calmly, lively, and positively by asking questions, letting the students read and explain the topic. And also, she is complimenting the students after they read the topics, giving a chance to understand well the topic by providing a videos and discuss what it's all about. The main objective of the teacher is to be an effective and efficient teacher, to imply information and retain it to the students. We cannot use one principle if we want a true learning. The teacher we need is to be flexible in order to give the needs of the students the information that they need to learn from you and to the real situation. We will make our teaching strategy interesting to the students so that we can catch their attentions. By that, we will have an active participation to the class discussion. Make our classroom lively and full of learning.
Hello everyone and have a good day. In this video, I will be discussing which principles of learning is the most important. So, learning is a cooperative and collaborative learning process is the most important for me because it is a method of teaching and learning in which students teams together to explore significant questions or create a meaningful project. With this principle of learning, the students can share strength, also develop their weaker skills and interpersonal skills. Learning is enhanced in an atmosphere of cooperation and collaboration because the responsibility for learning is placed upon the students through active interaction and communication, wherein the teacher becomes a learner at times. Thank you and God bless.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, too. Can you please introduce yourself? I am Cal Caranto, a fresh grad from Pangasinan State University, Bayambang Campus, with a degree of Bachelor of Physical Education. Oh, you're an education graduate. Yes, ma'am. Just asking, as a teacher, before you graduate, you need to observe, right? Yes, ma'am. So, what insight did you learn from the class activities that you have observed? What I've learned during my observation in that particular section is that before you enter a classroom, you need to have enough knowledge about the lesson that you're going to teach and enough knowledge to deal with your students, and you need to know who your students really are in order to have a good and smooth discussion. As a teacher, it is our duty to mold our students by motivating them and inspiring them with our experiences that can make connections to real-world scenarios. This can help everybody to make them learning more incredible and productive in a creative way.